Hello everyone, my name is Gerardo Miguel Contreras. I am 27 years old and this is my fourth year at Universidad Tecnológica de El Salvador cursing English language major. Today I am going to talk about a very important global issue that affects millions of people every day. Care for the elderly in Japan. I decided to research Japan because it is known around the world one of the countries with the oldest population. Japan is not only dealing with the challenge of having more elderly people than young people, but it also becoming an example for how countries can prepare for the future of aging societies. According to the Cabinet Office of Japan, nearly one out of every three people in Japan is 65 years old or older. That makes Japan one of the fastest aging nations in the world. This means that a large part of the population depends on healthcare systems, social services, and family support to survive and live well. This situation creates big questions like who takes care of the elderly, who pays for long-term medical care, what happens when there are not enough workers, how can older adults keep their dignity and independence. We are going to answer this question through this video. The Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare says that Japan has been forced to completely redesign how elder care works because families alone can no longer provide enough support. In the past, elderly parents often live with their children, but today, many Japanese citizens live in small apartments and work long hours, making traditional family care difficult. According to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, fewer young workers mean fewer caregivers. That is why Japan must rely on professional care systems and automation. Japan has responded by creating national insurance programs, building community center services, and investing heavily in technology. From care centers to smart homes and even robots designed to assist and comfort older adults, Japan is turning modern problems into innovative solutions. According to the World Health Organization, countries around the world are watching Japan closely because what happens in Japan today may happen in many other countries tomorrow. That is why studying early care in Japan is not only about one country, it is about future of the world. In this video, I will explain how Japan takes care of its elderly population, why the government uses technology and robots, and how community systems help older adults live independently. And at the end, I will share my personal reflection about what I learned after completing this research. Before discussing the examples, it is important to understand why Japan puts so much effort into elderly care. Well, the government of Japan says that Japan's average life expectancy is among the highest in the world. As people live longer and have fewer children, the number of elderly people grows while the number of young workers decreases. Traditionally, Japanese families took care of elderly relatives at home, but today many families are smaller and adult children often work far from their parents. According to the OECD, modern societies like Japan can no longer depend on families for elder care, so the government must participate more actively. As a result, Japan created organized systems to support both older adults and their families. The first major example of elderly care in Japan is the long-term care insurance system, often called LTCI. According to the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, this system was introduced in the year 2000. It provides insurance services for everyone aged 65. and older. This system means that elderly people do not depend completely on family members. Instead, they receive professional care supported by government insurance. This system includes home care services, daycare centers, nursing services, personal care facilities, and short-term stay options for rest and recovery. Each person is evaluated by professional team, and the amount of care they receive depends on their level of need. Japan's insurance system is considered one of the most organized elder care system in the world because it guarantees access rather than leaving care to chance. This system is important because it supports not only the elderly but the caregivers as well. The insurance system also reduces stress on families and prevents burnout among caregivers. The goal is for elderly people to stay in their own homes and neighborhoods for as long as possible. According to the Japanese government publication, this system combines medical care, social services, housing, rehabilitation, and community support. The Ministry of Health says that instead of traveling far for care, services are brought into the neighborhood. Each community has a support center that coordinates care for the elderly. The purpose is to make aging less lonely and more connected to society. This approach helps prevent isolation, which is a major problem for older adults. The National Institute of Population and Social Security Research in Japan says that loneliness increases health risks such as depression and memory loss. By creating community-centered services, Japan keeps elderly people socially active. The third example is Japan's use of robots and technology in elderly care. Japan is famous for its advanced robotics industry. According to the Time magazine, Japan is already using robots in care facilities for lifting patients, monitoring health conditions, and offering emotional comfort. One well-known robot is Perro, the robotic seal. The Japan's National Institute of Advanced Industrial Science Technology, PARO, is designed to reduce stress, anxiety, and loneliness within elder people. Robots are also used for physical health. Japan Times mentioned that robotic exoskeletons assist caregivers with lifting patients and reduce back injuries. Another important area is smart homes. The BBC highlights some elderly homes in Japan uses sensors that detect falls, changes in movement, and irregular behavior. If something is wrong, alerts are sent to hospital or family members. This technology allows older adults to live alone more safely. There are strong reasons why Japan chose these systems. The United Nations says that Japan is facing a population crisis where the working population is shrinking fast. Fewer workers mean fewer caregivers. Japan also faces financial challenges. According to the World Bank, early care is expensive and requires long-term planning. Technology reduces costs and labor shortage. Culturally, robots are more accepted in Japan. According to cultural researchers at University of Tokyo, Japanese society is more comfortable with robots as companions than many Western countries. After completing my research, I can honestly say that Japan's approach to elderly care changed the way I think about aging and responsibility as a society. Before this project, I did not realize how complex elder care really is. I used to think it was mostly about hospitals and family members, but now I understand that it includes emotional health, safety, independence, community, and dignity. Japan shows that caring for the elderly is not only a family responsibility, but also a responsibility shared by the entire society. What impressed me the most is how Japan blends tradition with technology. On one hand, there is the deep cultural respect for older people. On the other, there is modern innovation that helps make life easier. I think this balance is powerful. It shows that technology does not have to destroy human values. Instead, it can support them when used correctly. I also realize how important prevention is. Japan does not wait until another person becomes seriously ill. The system focuses on daily care monitoring and community support to prevent loneliness, accidents, and major health problems. This proactive approach makes more sense than only reacting after a problem occurs. However, I do have concerns. While I think technology is useful, I do not believe robots should ever replace human connection. Machines may help physically, but they cannot provide love, empathy, or understanding. Elderly people still need conversation, relationship, and emotional warmth. Technology should assist caregivers, not replace them. I also learned that planning for old age is important, even when you are young. Watching how Japan prepares years in advance made me realize that aging is not a sudden event. It is something it is something we all move toward slowly. Countries that prepare early can reduce suffering later. Overall, I believe Japan is doing many things right. Its system is not perfect, but it is thoughtful and well organized. If more countries followed Japan's example, older adults around the world will have better care, more respect, and more security. This project helped me see aging not as something to fear, but a stage of life that should be protected and honored. And after learning about Japan's system, I now understand that caring for the early is really about caring for the future. Because one day that future will be ours too. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.